So there's a group of people, and they're all about empathy. These people are all about empathy and compassion and mental health. And these people believe that words have severe weight. Your every word, your every deed, your every action is, a butterfly flaps in California and the earthquake happens in Japan. If you misgender someone, it could lead them to suicide. These people will say all that, and yet, when their own words have severe, drastic consequences, suddenly that whole philosophy kind of goes out the window for some reason. It's been a while since I've talked about anything comic book related, and I wish it was in better circumstances. So, Ed Piskor was a Pittsburgh area cartoonist known for books like Hip Hop Family Tree, X-Men Grand Design. I'm not too familiar with his books, but he also has this YouTube channel that I've watched from time to time, which is really great. It's a good channel for just sort of straight facts. If you want to know about some niche comic book from Wizard magazine, Cartoonist Kayfabe would have a nice thing about it. But about a week ago, Ed Piskor was embroiled in a controversy where around 2021, he messaged a 17-year-old. The woman was 17 years old at the time. She's maybe in her 20s now. And there were some really kind of strange DMs shared between Ed Piskor and this young woman. You can go look them up for yourselves to see the specifics of these. I would say that they are inappropriate. The messages did not paint Piskor in the best light, and the woman, I guess, revealed them, recently, thinking maybe to give the most charitable reason for doing so. She thought he might potentially be a danger to other people. I'm not saying he was. I don't know for sure, and that's kind of the moral of this entire story, is nobody really knows for sure. But a lot of other people have taken it upon themselves to be sort of, to play internet cop. Nobody elected anybody to be internet cop, but a lot of people seem to think that that's their job, is to play internet cop and to hold people accountable. Okay, so this woman released her DMs from Ed Piskor. Some other women, as is often the case, then came out with their own accusations. Again, to make it perfectly clear, I don't know to what extent Piskor might have been guilty of what he was accused of. Some of those claims he just flat out denies, by the way. Piskor flat out denies some of these people's accusations, and so it just becomes a he said, she said type situation, which is not enough to sentence someone to death. The point is that for many people on the internet, the accusation is enough. The accusation is the crime. And so in the wake of these accusations, Ed Piskor had a Pittsburgh art show canceled. I think he said he had a book deal canceled. I almost forgot that the local news showed up to both he and his parents' house and basically doxed them, basically showed the address of where they lived in full view. Again, this is a matter of the punishment does not fit the accusation. This is why we have laws. We have laws to sort this sort of thing out. But more than that, it seems he was unpersoned by many people. His partner on the Cartoonist Kayfabe YouTube channel, Jim Rugg. I don't want to make too many claims about what Jim did or didn't do, or what did or did not say to Ed Piskor before his passing, because he did make some sort of public denouncement about not wanting to work with Piskor anymore, but then Piskor also said that he showed up at his house to give him a hug. But yesterday, Piskor left a lengthy suicide note / will on his Facebook page, and then he killed himself. Piskor's suicide note that he left behind, it was very scathing. And it named names. And a lot of people that were named in this letter, they have been embroiled in sort of cancellation efforts before. These are people who, as soon as they smell blood in the water, as soon as their ideological enemies or even their peers, as soon as they step out of line, these people will swarm and they will play internet cop, and they will use these people's, they will use them as kind of just to step on, They will step on them to elevate themselves, and that's just kind of their MO. These are all losers. These are all kind of nobodies in the comic book industry, and yet have been kind of elevated. Just, it seems to be based on their propensity for viciousness, basically. One part of Piskor's note that stands out, I'll read this here. It says, I was murdered by internet bullies, massive amounts of them. Some of you out there absolutely contributed to my death, and you were entertaining yourself with gossip. I wasn't AI. I was a real human being. You chipped little bits of my self-esteem away all week until I was vaporized. Maybe I'll be able to haunt you dorks as a ghost. I come from gypsy heritage, and I'm definitely cursing a lot of you. I'm laughing a little bit here because even this guy's resignation, let's say, even this guy's resignation has a lot of personality behind it. So the guy says this on the way out, and he names names even, but the reaction from some people is just ugly. Just, these are people with rotten souls. Again, these are people who style themselves as the good guys. They're the good guys, you're the bad guys. They're all about empathy and mental health. And if you misgender someone, you are contributing to their potential suicide. But the moment their viciousness is thrown back in their face, you can accuse Piskor of being vindictive or whatever. The point is, people were called out by names. People know what the internet does to people. This is nobody's first rodeo. Recently it was this James Somerton guy who everybody accused him of plagiarism, and he left an alleged suicide note. I don't believe that the gentleman went through with it, but in the aftermath of it was kind of like people like toying with things. Like people just sort of toying with people's lives like they're ants under a magnifying glass. And then once they sort of realize, like, oh, are we the bad guys? They'll immediately forget it. They'll forget this. They'll forget what happened to Piskor the next time somebody steps out of line. But in between all that, again, they'll go on about empathy and compassion and the right side of history and who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. When the accusations did come out about Piskor about a week ago, I know that dragging the guy was done by people from all sides of the political aisle, but the immediate aftermath, there are definitely some people who are reacting one way, and there are some people who, again, their entire MO is I'm the good guy. They do not sound like the good guys. The good guys club, the good guys, they keep talking about the victims. It's tragic what Piskor did, but we can't let anybody blame the victims. But I don't think they really care who is or isn't the victim. I think they just want to maintain their sense of authority. They want to maintain the authority to go after people and to wield their self-righteousness over everybody else. Again, just sort of the accusation is the crime. Even in the wake of his suicide, they're a dog without a bone. There's obviously, they've made up their mind that there are resolute, clear good guys and bad guys, and just like they live in a world of fantasy. Marvel movies and this is another reason why comic books, why I haven't talked about them a lot is A, it's kind of, I don't really have the money to keep up with comic books that frequently, but B, comics is full of dummies. There's a lot of arrested development. There's a lot of like people living as adult babies where I think their brain really has been twisted by like superheroes and comic books and Marvel movies, that they think they're in like a real like struggle between good guys and bad guys. And they're the good guys, by the way. They're the good guys, and they're always the good guys. And if you ever point out that they might be the bad guys, fuck you. These people will say it's all about accountability. It's not about canceling someone. It's about consequences, and it's about holding people accountable. But again, nobody elected you to be internet cop. Nobody elected you to be judge, jury, and executioner. Nobody, what is accountable to you, random stranger on the internet, injecting yourself into somebody else's bullshit? What is accountability to you? Is it someone committing suicide potentially? Every attempt at sort of depersonalizing someone, at taking away their livelihood, at removing their potential for employment, for making them into a pariah, for isolating them from the professional and personal people in their lives. What is that but an attempt at getting someone to kill themselves? If you are a person who is very concerned about mental health and compassion and empathy, you would know, it would seem, that your words have a potential to lead to the ultimate destination, the ultimate. You would know that your words could potentially kill someone. And so, if you meant what you said, if you weren't just trying to sort of snip at your enemies, if you didn't just sort of delight in tearing things down, you might take a step back. You might take a step back and say, maybe I shouldn't pile on this guy. Maybe I don't have all the answers. Again, there's matters of proportion. There's matters of how much do you know or not know. Again, you don't have to defend the guy, but there needs to be room for grace, for grace and compassion and growth. And you don't have to invite the guy back into your social circle. You don't have to employ the guy. You don't have to be the guy's friend. But if you are trying to build this utopia, if your entire thing is to browbeat other people to join your fucking utopia, this is not the path to your fucking Xanadu. There are people for who this is a pattern of behavior. I'm not gonna sit here and blame the woman who first came out with the accusations. She might have had her reasons. She might have had perfectly valid reasons. I don't want to jump to demonizing her either. I don't want to jump to demonizing anybody who's more intimately involved with a situation, but there's definitely people for who this is a definite pattern of behavior. You want to say that something like this should never happen again, but I'm not convinced that people just won't forget about all this in a week and they'll just move on to the next person. I don't know. Rest in peace, Ed Piskor. Again, whatever you might think of the guy, whatever he may have done or did not do, that's kind of all. I don't want to say it's irrelevant exactly, because it's probably not irrelevant to a lot of people, and I don't know. You never know how the story can change. But for anyone who was to use Piskor's words, for anyone who was out to get their pound of flesh, they got it. So I don't know.